in the middle of the vast ocean, where the waves constantly caress the hull of the ship, where the salty wind from the open sea soaks into the sunburnt backs of the seafarers. There is a quiet but extremely majestic journey taking place every day. That is the persistent and determined livelihood of Japanese fishermen on modern fishing boats. Not everyone knows that every day in this remote sea area, hundreds of tons of herring, sardines, and tuna are pulled up from the deep sea with giant nets. A journey that is not only hard work, but also an epic about the bond between people and the ocean. Japan, an island nation surrounded by the ocean, has for generations formed a culture closely associated with fishing. The ships going to sea not only carry the hope of making a living, but also carry the traditions and pride of many generations of fishermen. The vast seas surrounding Japan are home to countless species of precious fish, of which herring, sardines and tuna are the three species with the highest economic value and are regularly hunted by modern fishing vessels. Early in the morning at the fishing port, before the sun has fully risen, fishermen are already on board, checking equipment, machinery, nets and positioning systems. On large fishing vessels, the control system is largely automated, but the human factor still plays a central role. Each sea trip lasts for many days, sometimes up to a week or more. Depending on the location of the fish school and weather conditions, they go out to sea in harsh conditions, ready to face big waves and strong winds, all just to bring back full catches of fish, serving domestic consumption and export needs. Herring is a fish with high nutritional value, often living in large schools. When a school of herring is detected by modern sonar technology, the ships will quickly drop large-scale encirclement nets. The sight of hundreds of tons of herring being pulled to the surface of the water is truly spectacular. The silvery fish, shimmering in the early morning sunlight like shimmering silk ribbons, are lifted out of the water by a system of cranes and reel nets. Workers on the deck work tirelessly, pulling the nets and sorting the fish, ensuring no damage. The entire process is carried out quickly and professionally thanks to the smooth coordination between humans and machines. After the herring are caught, the next step is to search for the bream, a fish with a long body, strong swimming ability and often appearing seasonally. The bream also moves in schools and is very agile. To catch them effectively, Japanese fishermen use long and deep trawl nets, which are dropped from the back of the ship. Retrieving the net requires skill and strength, because each meter of net pulled up is full of fish. Each fish is nearly half a meter long, with a silvery blue body. Constantly struggling, a single net can bring back dozens of tons of sardines, which are immediately put into the ship's freezing system to maintain absolute freshness. And then, the journey continues with one of the most fierce hunts, tuna. This is a fish with the top economic value in Japan, especially bluefin tuna. Catching tuna requires high technique and perseverance, because tuna often live in deep water and are very strong. Large ships use purse seine nets and long fishing lines to hunt fish weighing hundreds of kilograms. When a tuna is hooked, the entire crew will have to coordinate to pull it up. avoiding falling or damage. After being brought onto the ship, the tuna will be processed immediately, gutted, bled, and deep frozen. All take place in a clean and professional environment, ensuring international export standards. Every day at sea is a real battle, not only with sudden storms. With fierce waves, but also with human limits. Sailors have to work continuously for many hours, without full sleep, always have to be alert to ensure the safety of themselves and their teammates. On the deck, the sound of machinery mixed with the sound of the waves, the sound of coordinated cheers, the sound of the net and the joy when the hold is full of fish, all create a vivid picture of modern Japanese seafaring. As the hold of the ship fills up, mobile freezers begin to be used. Each can hold tons of fish, kept at sub-zero temperatures by powerful refrigeration systems. For herring and sardines caught closer to shore, some ships will choose to do some preliminary processing on board, gutting, cleaning and temporarily packaging, before returning to the mainland for further processing. With tuna, the process is more complex. Each fish, after being gutted and processed, is graded according to meat quality, fat content and freshness, and then priced on board by experienced experts, while those on the mainland only see the finished product as bright red sashimi in restaurants or packaged fish in supermarkets. Few can imagine the arduous and sweaty journey behind each piece of fish. On the deck, amidst the cold winds and raging waves, men in shirts drenched in seawater and sweat still work quietly. Shouldering the responsibility of bringing seafood back to millions of families. Each time they set sail, the captains must carefully calculate the time and location of the expected fish schools. Changes in ocean currents, sea water temperature, and even signals from satellites. Today, modern technology such as radar, GPS, sonar sensors, and underwater cameras are integrated on board to maximize effective fishing. However, the human element is still the soul of every action. Only those who have lived for decades at sea have the sharp intuition to know when the fish will appear, when to drop the net, and when to retreat before the approaching storm. The journey is not always smooth. There are trips that last a whole week but only bring back a few tons of fish because the fish move erratically or the sea conditions are too harsh. At those times, fatigue and disappointment seem to weigh heavily on each of their eyes. But they never gave up. As long as there was an opportunity, they would go out to sea and continue their livelihood, because more than anyone else, they understood that the seafaring profession was life, flesh and blood, and the bond between people and the ocean. For many Japanese families, having a relative who was a fisherman was not only a source of pride, but also a part of the culture. Children who grew up by the harbor, witnessing their fathers bringing home baskets of fish every day. Soon understood that life was not easy. Many boys learned from their fathers from a young age how to distinguish fish species, how to remove fish from nets, and how to operate ship engines. It was not just about passing on the profession but also about passing on the spirit of resilience, indomitability, and love for the ocean. Some large ships today are also equipped with mini processing plants right on board, where fish are put into the washing. Cutting, meat, freezing, and packaging line as soon as they are caught. This not only saves time and maintains freshness, but also meets the strict standards of the international market. Especially with tuna, each fish is attached with a QR code to trace its origin, from the time of catching. The coordinates of the sea area to the storage temperature, all are transparent and clear. The fishing industry in Japan relies not only on human labor, but also on a synchronously operating ecosystem, from fishing ports, processing plants, cold storage, to the global distribution and export system. But behind those impressive numbers are the silent sacrifices of the men who drift day and night on the waves. Every time the ship returns, the fishing port comes alive, bustling with laughter, calls, the sound of fish lifts, trucks coming and going continuously, bringing seafood everywhere, from local markets to luxury restaurants in Tokyo. Osaka or exporting to Europe, America and Asian countries. As the ship docks after many days at sea, the atmosphere at the port seems to be alive. Refrigerated trucks are waiting. Port staff quickly check the quantity, classify, and transport the fish to warehouses or factories. Trays of shiny herring, long, sparkling sardines, and heavy tuna bodies are carefully unloaded. All are transported to processing plants in the shortest time possible to ensure the quality is maintained. In the factories, the fish processing continues with high precision and hygiene. The herring are beheaded, gutted, washed, and then put through dryers or canned depending on the purpose. The sardines are filleted, cut into pieces, or cleaned whole for export to favored markets such as Korea and China. With tuna, especially bluefin tuna, the processing is done entirely by hand under the strict supervision of experts. To ensure that each piece of meat meets export standards to Europe or serves the high-end domestic sushi market. However, along with that achievement are countless difficulties that only those in the profession can understand. Offshore fishermen not only face harsh weather conditions but also the decline of marine resources. Fish are no longer as abundant as before, forcing fishermen to go farther. Longer, spend more fuel, and take more risks. Changes in ocean currents, scales, and catch limits. Some seas are divided into rotational fishing areas to give fish time to recover. In addition, the Japanese government also encourages the use of new technology to minimize environmental impacts, such as marine-friendly nets, precision positioning devices to avoid breeding grounds, and reduce fuel consumption. Japanese fishermen understand that if they do not protect fish resources today, there will be no tomorrow for the fishing industry. They are not only fishermen, but also preservers of ocean resources for future generations. It is this spirit that has kept Japan's fishing industry sustainable, becoming a model for many countries to learn from. It can be said that a tuna sold in Tokyo or New York is not simply food. It is the crystallization of a series of efforts stretching from the sea to the dining table. A perfect combination of people, technology and nature. Each fish is a long story about labor, hardship, hope, and above all, the intense love of the sea of fishermen. In the sunset covering the sea, when the ships prepare to leave the port, another generation of fishermen continues the old journey. The nets are checked again. The engines roar, the waves hit the ship's side, and the port gradually recedes. In the vast ocean, they are not only looking for fish, they are looking for opportunities. Faith and the future. In the thick darkness of the ocean, when the mainland has fallen asleep, fishing boats still quietly move deep into the sea. Only the faint light from the halogen bulbs hanging along the hull seeping through the salty mist and the constant rumble of the engine. This is the ideal time to fish, when the fish move closer to the surface, reflecting light, creating conditions for the radar system and underwater cameras to easily detect. In the control room, the captain and engineers focus on the display screen. Each tiny light spot under the sea signals the appearance of thousands of fish moving with the current. As soon as the exact coordinates are determined, the signal is transmitted to the entire crew. Giant purse seines begin to be dropped into the sea, rolling in a large arc to enclose the entire school of fish. The hydraulic system operates the steel cranes weighing tons, gently pulling the net up. Meter by meter of the dense net of fish is gradually pulled out of the water to the rumble of the machinery and the excited cheers of the fishermen. At times like this, the deck is a brilliant and lively scene. Schools of silvery herrings shoot out of the water like vivid fireworks in the dark night. The sardines swim frantically before being gathered, and the huge black shadows of tuna weighing tens. Even hundreds of kilograms, struggling in the net. The crew works tirelessly throughout the night shift. Each person takes on a position. One removes the fish from the net. One sorts it. One puts it on the conveyor belt. One operates the ice machine. Despite the cold weather, despite the seawater splashing all over their bodies, they still do not leave their positions, only changing shifts for a few hours to catch some sleep. The hurried meals on board are cold rice, hot noodles, a few slices of fried fish or canned food, not luxurious,